Kenneth Eugene Smith, first execution with nitrogen gas in Alabama. CONVICTED murderer Kenneth Eugene Smith was executed using nitrogen gas. This is the first time the death penalty has been used in the world. A witness told the BBC that Smith was severely beaten on a gurney and the execution lasted about 25 minutes. The United Nations condemned it Friday as cruel, but Alabama said the process was conducted humanely. Smith was convicted in 1989 of murdering preacher's wife Elizabeth Sennett for hire. In his final words, the 58-year-old said his death would mean Alabama had taken humanity a step backward. Mike Sennett, the victim's son, said the family would not be celebrating, but Smith had paid his debt. "Nothing that happened here today will bring Mommy back," he said, adding, "We're glad this day is over." According to the Death Penalty Information Center, Smith is the first person to be executed using pure nitrogen anywhere in the world. The execution began at 1953 local time 1:53 GMT, and his death was announced at 20:25 to 35 GMT. Alabama and 2 other U.S. states have approved the use of nitrogen hypoxia as an alternative execution method as drugs used in lethal injections have become harder to find, helping to reduce the use of the death penalty nationally. Alabama is forcing humanity to take a step back tonight, Smith said, according to witnesses. "Thank you for supporting me. Love you all." After the gas began to flow into his mask, the prisoner reportedly smiled, nodded to his family and signed, "I love you." One of 5 members of the media brought to Holman Correctional Facility in Atmore to witness the execution told the BBC it was unlike any other he had witnessed in Alabama. "I've been to 4 previous executions and I've never seen a condemned prisoner beat the way Kenneth Smith reacted to nitrogen gas," Lee Hedgepeth told BBC Newsday. "Kenny began to choke constantly and the execution took about 25 minutes in total. Inhaling nitrogen without oxygen causes destruction of body cells and leads to death," Alabama Gov. Kay Ivey, who did not respond to requests to attend the execution, confirms Smith's death in a statement. "After more than 30 years of trying to defraud the system, Mr. Smith has answered for his horrific crimes," she said. "I pray that Elizabeth Sennett's family can find peace after all these years of dealing with this enormous loss." Attorney General Steve Marshall said it proved to be an effective and humane method of execution, refuting dire predictions from activists and the media. "Justice has been served," his statement said. Alabama Corrections Commissioner John Hamm said Smith's shaking on the gurney appeared to be an involuntary movement. "This was all to be expected, and it was in the side effects that we observed or studied with nitrogen hypoxia," Mr. Hamm said. "There was nothing unusual compared to what we expected." In an earlier court filing, Alabama said it expected Smith to lose consciousness within seconds and die within minutes. Smith was one of 2 men convicted of killing Ms. Sennett in a $1,790 murder for hire in March 1988. The 45-year-old woman was shot and stabbed in the chest and neck, and her death was staged to look like a home invasion and burglary. Her husband, Charles Sennett, a debt-ridden preacher, organized a scheme to collect insurance money. He committed suicide as investigators closed in. Smith's associate, John Forrest Parker, was executed in 2010. At trial, Smith admitted that he was present when the victim was killed, but said that he did not take part in the attack. The jury that convicted him voted for life in prison, but the judge overruled their decision and imposed the death penalty. The law has since been changed to prevent such interference by a judge. In a statement, Smith's legal team said it was deeply saddened by his execution, noting that the jury in his case voted to spare his life, but the judge overturned that decision. "Nothing can undo the tragic consequences of the actions for which he was convicted, including the pain of Sennett's family and friends," the lawyer said. However, Kenny's life must be seen in its full context. Earlier Thursday, the Alabama Department of Corrections shared details of the inmate's final 48 hours. Smith was visited by his family, two friends, his spiritual director, and his lawyer. His last meal was steak and eggs and hash browns. Alabama attempted to execute Smith by lethal injection 2 years ago, but was unable to find a vein before the state's death sentence expired. On Thursday evening, the Supreme